Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 21st of March, although once again, I can't believe that I'm saying that it's the 21st of March. I really don't know where January, February, and the beginning of March went, but anyway, here we go. It's 8 o'clock now. It's dark outside, but it's been staying light so much later, and the clocks are going to go forward soon as well, which is wonderful, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. So I am preparing. So welcome to whoever is on the call. I finally remembered to remind you and me that I was going to be doing this tonight. It's just been a bit manic. I know I've not really posted very much in the group, but I have been very busy, obviously, with all the Easter creatures, which I've been having lots of fun. Hello, Carol, lovely to see you. I'm actually standing up above my desk at the moment, just so that I can read all your comments until I sit down and get started. So Christy is here as well, from Los Angeles. I love that you are, like, way across the pond and, 8 hours behind us? I think 7 or 8 hours behind us at the moment, aren't you? So it's the middle of the afternoon where you are. And it's dark here, but it's spring and the blossoms coming out in the trees, and it's just so lovely. And even when it's raining, it's still lovely, and it's spring. So, it's lovely. So, there's an avatar has just pinged up. Oh, yes, definitely. It's spring. This is just the best time of year ever. So, it's so nice to have you here. So I thought today, as I'm sitting down now, so do forgive me if I'm going to be struggling a bit with the comments. That was Helen who said that you're with me. Yay, Helen, lovely to see you here too. And it's 1 o'clock at your time, Christy, middle of the day. We have, oh my goodness, you've got lots of people here. Sorry, my phone is now in landscape mode, so I find it quite hard to actually read the comments. They disappear off the screen, so do forgive me. But we have Alison here as well. So Alison, hello, lovely to see you too. Anyway, I thought I would share with you. And we have Tim as well. Hello, Tim. Lovely to have you. We've got the whole contingency from across the pond. This is fantastic. Querness, they do love, the wee creatures love to travel. It's wonderful. They kind of travel vicariously for me, because although I've been to Mexico, obviously, with Enrique, and I've had a wonderful honeymoon in New Zealand, and I've been to a few other places, I'm a homebody. I like being at home. So the wee creatures kind of go off and do the travelling for me, which is just lovely. Anyway, you'll be wondering what's in front of us today. Well, look, how dinky is this? Now, this is a brew and a blether, and I very rarely have a brew these days. I wait until I get home, and then Enrique's got one waiting for me. But I make an exception with these. I found these adorable, tiny, tiny, tiny teacups. They're not miniatures. Well, they are, but they're not doll's house miniatures. They are just tiny teacups. I mean, they're just wonderful. So I thought it would be rather sweet to have a little mouse in one, because I've not done a little mouse in a teacup for a very long time. But just before I get started, I shall say hello to Nicole. Hello, Nicole. Lovely to hear from you from the southwest of Scotland. Fantastic. Again, we're so eclectic here. It's wonderful. So I thought, right, so I'm going to make a wee mouse. This is going to have to be a tiny mouse. Now, I've not done one for this size of cup before that I know of. Well, I can't have, because this is the first time that I've had this cup. But I thought a 2-gram clay mouse would probably do the trick. So let's see how it goes. Once again, it's all a bit of an experiment. So I'm just going to move it to one side. It's not going away, but I don't want to break it or push it out of the way or anything. So I am just conditioning this tiny little 2 grams of clay, and I'm doing grey because it's a grey cup. I mean, actually, I must show you this. So I don't know where it's from, but it's a very pretty pattern. But on the bottom, it says foreign. So, go figure. Tell me what that is. But I have a few of these. That's the other exciting news. So I'm going to make this little grey one today. But if it works out, and there's no guarantees, this is all a bit kind of fly on the seat of the pants sort of thing. But if it works out, then I'll make a few more, probably different wee creatures. I'm definitely on a bunny kick at the moment. I am loving the bunnies. I mean, particularly the Easter egg bunnies. I will definitely be making more of them. I may even do a sort of a small shop event for more Easter chicks, Easter bunnies, and the Easter cards, the Easter card bunnies and mice as well, because they are just, those cards that Jacqueline made are just so beautiful. In fact, I have a few more of them here. You just saw one of them. Oh, sorry, disappearing off at the moment. But she made some other ones which had like these lovely, lovely little Easter eggs on them as well. So there's Happy Easter and there's Hoppy Easter. So there's going to be more cards, as well as all the I Love You More Than Cheese cards. I mean, I've got so many. There's just so much. There's so much to do, so little time. Where does the time go? I don't know. I know I keep saying that, and I know that they always say it gets faster or goes by faster as you get older, but this fast? Really? It can't be right, surely. Right, so this is what 2 grams of clay looks like. It's not a huge amount, I have to say. Right, so I'm not sure. Oh, and is that a comment? What about lambs? We have some in our paddock. Oh, lambs. I haven't made lambs for ages. Oh gosh, there's so many comments and I can't read them. I'm really sorry. I'll catch up with you all when I finish. Right, actually, let's see whether is 2 going to be... I might be able to get away with a 3-gram mouse, actually, which would be a little nicer, actually. There's something... I mean, 2 grams work, just about. That's about the smallest size of mouse that I will do. But a 3-gram mouse tends to be, you know, I can sort of add in a little bit more character and whatever. So I think I'm going to do 3 grams instead. And here I go. Flob removal has started. Right, okay, so that's my 2 grams. I'm going to cut off another gram from that and a bit more. This is me weighing it out on my dealer scales. They're wonderfully accurate. They're superb. 3.03 grams. And there we go, 3 grams of clay. So that's what 3 grams of clay looks like. And it's amazing actually how much of a difference that makes. You know, for example, when I'm doing the selenite towers, the wee creatures jumping up and down on the icebergs, they're wonderful. I'm still working on them, so I know that there are still a few people that haven't got back to about the pre-orders, but I've actually been making them as I've been going along, just for a change, and it's actually worked out really well. I'm having fun with them, and so thank you all for your patience, those who are waiting. Some of you have already received them. I went to pick up more of the light bases today from the crystal shop, the wholesaler that I now have an account with, which is dangerous, it must be said, very dangerous. Oh, it's so good. I'd bought them in advance so that I didn't, you know, go in and spend a fortune as I did the last time. Right, anyway, that's me blethering away. It does what it says on the tin, does this particular half-hour slot with you all. Right, okay, so this is a 3-gram clay. Let's see whether that works any better. I think I just have a, yeah, I think 3 grams should be okay. Let's see. Right. All right. So that's what a 3-gram ball of clay looks like. Just, I mean, you will know this. What else have I done 3 grams with? I can't think off the top of my head of what would be recently that I've done. Oh, my brain, do you know, I don't know whether this is just me, my age or whatever, but I'm getting brain fog is quite something. If I don't write it down, you know, hasn't happened sort of thing. And sometimes it's just like, what was that? What was I doing? When did I do that? So one likes to say that one lives in the moment. That's how I get away with it, or that's how I explain it. Because I have a very rich and a very full life. I just, you know, ask me to recall what happened. Well, it's kind of happened, hasn't it? It's been and gone. And, you know, if you ignore the present for what's happened in the past, then you're missing out on the present. So I think Sherlock Holmes had said that he didn't have room in his brain for all the sort of the mundane stuff. So he just ignored it. So I'm in good company. Let's put it that way. Right, so that's the sort of the head shaped, and now I'll give him his legs, because I'm going to have him sort of standing on tiptoe, peeping over the edge and looking up, because as you know, all the wee creatures look up. Oh, he's decided he's going to be looking off to one side. It's really strange actually when I shape the legs like this, because it is more of a sort of a tease, you know, And I try and put them on straight, but look, they always end up sort of looking off to one side or the other, and invariably it's off to the left, actually, probably because I'm right-handed. But I mean, that creates the movement. I was thinking about this today, because the Easter chicks are, I'm definitely going to be making more Easter chicks because they are just ridiculously cute. But there's something about the movement that they have. And I think that's really what I love about the wee creatures, is that they have they have movement to them. They're not just sort of sitting there, being plonked down. Some of them are and have been, but, most of them are off doing things. Yeah, you see, he's looking off and up to the left, and he's probably going to start, squeaking at me soon and going, "What are you doing? I mean, really, can we just get on with it?" So I will, first of all, I hope it's a camera position. I think it's okay. I'm going to just mark where the eyes are, which really is the first step to bringing them to life. Well, he's already alive, but you know what I mean, even more to life. And then I'm going to put a wee dot of, what's it called? A liquid clay for his nose. I had a wee trip out today, actually, when I went to the rock shop. It's called, in Meltham, which is just outside Huddersfield. And then I went to drop off the 3 tiny mice on the rose quartz cloud. So it was lovely to meet Sharon. Hey, so I met somebody who adopts wee creatures. It's wonderful. So thank you, Sharon, if you're here or listening. It was lovely to meet you. Right, let's just plonk his nose on. It's just, they really do come to life quite quickly. Now, he needs to be sort of bending over back because the lip of the cup sort of comes forward. So I want him to be sort of leaning away from the edge with his paws out in front of him and sort of holding onto the edge, if that makes sense. That's how I think he wants to be. So he's kind of, it was a far cry. I don't know how many of you remember the original teacup mice that I did. And I remember this is when I had back in the old days when I had an Etsy shop. And a little yellow teacup mouse got featured on Etsy's front page. Now, for those, I don't know what Etsy's like now. I haven't had a shop for a very, very long time. But at the time, that was huge. So, I had hundreds and thousands of visitors to the shop, and lots of people just bought lots and lots of teacup mice. So because the little teacups that I used for that came from IKEA. It was actually their children's cooking sets there, or tea sets, I should say. Just cutting out the ears here on a sheet of clay that I have rolled out previously. Likewise here, because I am conscious that I do run over quite a lot. But for whatever reason, I can just blether away for hours and not realise the time, particularly when I can't actually read the comments. So you're kind of, I'll try and keep you right. Now I've just spotted a comment. The teacup mice used to hold placards. They certainly did. And extra prize, extra points for guessing or remembering what was on the placards. I still have lots of them kicking around somewhere. In fact, I can see them here. Actually, do you remember them? Here we go. Keep calm and have a cupcake, but it was actually keep calm and have a cup of tea, or keep calm and drink tea, I think it was. And I made up lots of bespoke ones as well. Sorry, I do keep distracting myself. I do apologise. But then it wouldn't really be so much of a meandering blether as it tends to turn out to be. Right, and the favourite time, of course, when I try and find the right size of bead. I still have some of those little teacups left. I think I've only got green and yellow ones left. The pink and the blue ones were, not surprisingly, very, very popular. So they went very quickly. And I don't know, I've not been back to IKEA for years, so I've no idea whether they still do them, these teacup sets. But maybe I'll revisit them at some point. I was looking back at my Flickr page, which, for those who don't know, I use it as that's my gallery of work, and I have kept it going from the year dot, from when Quernus was was first born in 2009. And so I have nearly 8,000 photos on there now. And I rarely, well, I do post some duplicates, but not as, that I haven't just made 8,000 creatures. There's been an awful lot more than that. Usually it's sort of one photo as a representative of that particular style of creature. So it's I might even just sort of do a little retrospective at some point and go back to the very, very, very early creatures. I look back at them now and I think, oh my goodness, oh my word. But I suppose we all have to go through a training process. I still feel I still have so much to learn, but I've got the practice in. I think I've done my 10,000 hours to become practiced and expert in something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I haven't worked out exactly how long that would be, but I don't know how many hours are in 14 years. There hasn't been an awful lot of time off during that time. Anyway, right. Yes, somebody has got, yes, the keep calm and drink tea. I'm probably way behind on the comments. Sorry. I can only see sort of one line at a time, and if I scroll through them, then I kind of lose sight of what I'm doing, and I can't multitask. I used to think I could multitask, and I know that it's sort of a lot of people think they can. I really don't think people can. I don't think we're meant to multitask. I think we think we can, but actually we just become distracted at more things. So we can do lots of little things, but we're not really focused on anyone in particular. Right, just straightening out his eye there. I know they look really odd until they have their eyes pushed in, which sounds horrible as well, but all part of the process. Yeah, and that one's come out a little bit. I mean, it really is. Arguably, it's something out of a horror book until they start turning cute. I'm going through a bit of a Stephen King phase at the moment. I listen to audiobooks all day, every day in the studio. But he's such a good storyteller. It's not his horror book. I mean, he has some, really kind of eye-watering moments in his books, but really, as a storyteller, he's just phenomenal. His characterization, that, yeah, he really is one of the literary geniuses of our time, and he's not, I don't think, given the credit that he's due, because he's not sort of seen as being highbrow or but he's just a very, very good storyteller, and we need more storytellers in the world. That's my own thought. Right, okay, so we have eyes, we have nose. Let's just get his ears sorted out here too. Right, I know I haven't even cut out any of his paws either. Oh, somebody's saying he's too scary for me. No, but some of his stories are really not scary at all. There's a bit of a supernatural element to them. Things like Carrie, which, oh gosh, I mean, I saw the film years ago, but I've never read the book actually. What did I read recently of his? Well, the one I'm reading just now is called Duma Key. And it's just, he's so good at sort of writing about ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances, and they're not all scary. So there's a lot of his other books which are, I know he's got this reputation. The Green Mile, for example, The Shawshank Redemption, they're all just wonderful character studies. Anyway, Pet Sematary, okay, you've got a point there. Pet Sematary is, no. There are some places I don't really want to go. But his character studies, his fiction, as opposed to horror, he can tell a good tale. He can weave a good story. So yes, and I tend to, if I find an author that I like, then I'll tend to just, be a bit of a completist in the same ways that I am with rainbows. I can't just make one thing with one mouse with a red thing. It's got to be the entire rainbow. The full spectrum. So I have the set, which is why there were quite a few creatures, rainbow creature sets for the Easter creatures. This is me just cutting out the paws, by the way. I think I might need slightly bigger paws for holding onto the side, but that's a good size for a 3-gram mouse. I should maybe write these down at some point, because you never know, the way my brain's going, I'm forgetting all about them. Anyway, right, I'm just cutting them to the right angle to sit nicely on the side of his head. And I'm aware that I haven't actually put him in his cup yet. So there will be, I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to manhandle him, mouse handle. Mouse handle. Don't want to mouse handle him too much, so that you know, his paws will get slightly deformed because there's a sort of a dome at the bottom of the cup, so his paws will need to curve to that shape. So I really don't want to sort of put him in there until he's pretty much finished. When was the last time I made a little mouse? I can't remember. Is that ear too small? Actually, maybe I've made his head too big. Do you know what I've done? I've not used a full, I need to cut these ears again. I didn't use the number 1. Sorry, I'll start again. See, I told you, can't multitask, have my squirrel moments. I had originally rolled out the clay on the basis that it was going to be a 2-gram mouse. So these ears are the right size for a 2-gram mouse. I now have to cut them out of thicker clay so that they squish out slightly larger, which will be the right size for a 3-gram mouse. Isn't it fun? It's all kind of like, you know, fly by the seat of one's trousers. But how, I mean, would you have it any other way, really? They are good fun. I was thinking, actually, these Brew and Blethers, they're a bit like, do you remember? Now, this was going back years, at least 8 or 9 years, but at one point I did a series of, you know, I can't even remember what I called them, but I was, people would suggest what creature they would like me to make, and then I made it through the course of the day and posted photographs of my progress as I went on. And that, you know, I made a Where's Wally mouse, and I think I made a mouse in a kimono. It was like a Japanese mouse. There are pictures of that on Flickr, so worth checking them out. But this is kind of like doing it in real time. Not remotely scary, honest. Right, so you see how these are quite a lot wider now because I made them with thicker clay. So this will be the right size of ear for this wee mouse. So a little corner just to pinched in, which gives it that lovely rounded shape. And the same again on this one. There we go. We're still okay for, oh, sorry, there was a question and I've totally missed it. It just popped up and then popped away again. So sorry. I will answer any questions asked once I've finished this. Or I'll try and have a look if I can. But as I say, if I do that, if I have a look at the comments, then this wee mouse will just be sitting there going, come on, be tapping his paws and telling me to get a move on. Be, hurry up, mum. Can't hear anything. There's you trying to multitask and you know you can't. You just have to focus on one thing. These are the little conversations which go on in my head whilst the creatures are being born. It's rather sweet, really. Right, that's a better in proportion size of ear for sure. And I put both of them, I've put a little bit of that medium extender, which is really good for joining wet clay, as it were. It's not wet, but you know, raw clay together. I don't know why it's so good, because it's meant for oil paints, but anyway. And I've been thinking I really need to get back into doing cane work. I saw a brilliant, and I made just before Christmas a butterfly cane, which worked out really, really well. So I'm wanting to do some butterflies which will have magnets on them that you can put on your radiators or on your lamps or whatever. So many ideas. I'm so glad that the wee creatures still come to me with their ideas. You know, it'd be a bit sad if they didn't. Right. I'm just readjusting the eye a little bit. Look at that little face. Look at it. Look at him. He's just so cute. Right. Now, This is where I need to bend him back into shape so he's looking forward. I don't know whether you can see. I'm going to be having him sort of slightly bending back, as I say, so his arms are pushing off from the side. And I'll bake him as it is. Obviously, ceramic has been fired at hundreds of degrees, 800 degrees centigrade. It can handle being put into a little tabletop toaster oven at 100 degrees, and then the mouse will be kept in shape whilst I do that. So wherever I can, I will always bake the mouse in situ with whatever, whether he's holding something or whether he's on something. Now I can't put the selenite in the oven. Selenite does not do well with excess heat. So what I do is I blow dry the I've probably told you all this before, but I blow dry them, well, with a heat gun. It's not really a hairdryer. But I make sure that they are fixed in place. And then I finish off the curing process in the oven when they've already been fixed, so that I can then just glue them onto the tower once they're done. So that works out very well. But anyway, blah. Again, I'm sorry I can't read any of your comments just now. Right. Oh, I haven't done his tail, have I? Right, so there's a, oh, that's out of sight, isn't it? Apologies. I'm trying to keep an eye on where we are, but I think this is quite a good position for the camera. But do shout if it's not. I'm kind of, yeah, blah. See, squirrel moment with a mouse. Go figure. Right. So this is me going to put his paws on now, because it's quite narrow at the bottom. I don't know, you probably won't be able to see that, but I mean, teacups tend to, they shrink in, they come in at the bottom. So his paws are going to have to be quite close together so that they don't go up either side. You see, so I'm kind of pushing them into each other. Now he's going to be fixed into the pot, but even when they're fixed in and you can't see their feet, this is how much of a completist I am, okay? I don't know whether you knew this, but I still sign them. I still put a little bit of my QC cane, which, it's tiny, but I put a tiny amount of it. And there you go. I do that for every creature. The only exception is where their bums or their feet are visible, like on the oh no, actually the selenite towers I do still sign them, because their feet are climbing up the side of the towers, but I wouldn't put them on their where it would be visible. I wouldn't put it. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Right. Okay, so let's see. Mouse positioning. Right, I need to bring them in even more. So he's going to be standing in there with his paws quite close together. Oh, I know that it's getting right because I giggle. It's wonderful. You know you're on the right track when you start to giggle. Right, so I want to, yeah, that's pretty good. You see, this is why I didn't want to sort of handle him too much until he was nearly getting in place. Right, so he's standing up on his, I want him leaning forward a little bit more. Sorry, I didn't finish that sentence. This is why I didn't want to sort of put him in too early, because I needed to, I knew I'd be sort of playing around with this. And you don't want to handle the mouse or the wee creatures or the clay too much, because that just, it's not good. That's all I'll say. Right. So I want him leaning forward a little bit, you see? But I don't want him necessarily hanging over the edge of the cup, because the cup's too small for that. To be honest, actually, perhaps a 2 gram might have worked. I may try it, because I have a few more of these cups. So I may try him even maybe with a 2.5 gram mouse and see whether that works. But you see how his paws are misshaped because of the bottom, the way that the bottom of the cup is shaped in. But to have him leaning forward a little bit, I'll take him out again to have his tail put in, because his tail will help keep him upright, because I'm going to have it leaning over the top. That'll help stabilize him. And then his front paws, which will be hanging over the edge. I may need slightly bigger ones for these. And then I'm going to I'll use a smaller clay shaper. I want to make sure that they are slightly over the edge of the cup, so they need to be shaped slightly so that they're over the side. Right, now, you may need to come down a little bit more. Right, before I put those paws in, I'm going to put his tail on. Or I'm going to do it all at the same time, sort of thing. It's kind of a, when it's a, look at that, it's ridiculous. It looks as though he's going sailing. Oh, there's an idea. I wonder. I don't really have a clean, could I give him a, no. Anyway, look, right, you see, squirrel. Distracting myself again with ideas. Anyway, yeah, so I want to kind of just pull it all together at the similar time, basically. So it's not just, it's all got to come together. There's an analogy that I can't think of just now, but it's sort of where you're just trying to pull, do you know what I'm trying to say, don't you? I'm sure you do. You know me well enough by now. It's making sure that it's not just putting the paws on, next step. It's just, everything's got to come together in the one time. So, oh gosh, that was all quite painful. Sorry about that. Right, so I'm going to, first of all, put his paws roughly in the right place. Up a little bit. Same again here. They need to be forward a bit because that's where they would be. He looks a bit like a zombie just now. That will change. All right. And I want to have them up a little bit so I can bring them down, basically. And then he needs his tail on. And because his tail's going to be going up and over the edge, instead of having it the way I would normally do it, where he's standing with the tail. There we go. Right, you see what I mean about it all coming together? That's what I was trying to... This is the pictorial representation of what I was trying to say and making such a fudge of it. So now I can get the paws in place and just have them holding on to the edge of the cup. And then his tail. Now, I don't want it to be too far away from the edge. So what I'll probably do, it wants to corkscrew. You see, so it's kind of going up and I can have it just balancing over the lip. In fact, I may have to yeah, I do. That tail needs to come straight out rather than backwards. So, but that's okay. That's working. This is where it's quite warm in here. So the clay is quite malleable, so I can just slightly make it, I kind of pushed it down a little bit from the top and now it is sticking more or less straight out of his bum. Or where the mouse's tail, the base of his spine, shall we say. Right, and then it can just be over there, right. I think there will be some more work to be done before he goes into the oven. But that's more or less my little mouse in the teacup. Yeah, his tail needs a bit of work. I think I may have to start again with the tail so that it's not so fragile, because that would break quite easily if anything landed on it. And I can see a bit of flob. We can't have flob, but look at that little face. I mean, it's just the way he's kind of peeping up. He's like, oh, what's going on here? I want to see what's going on. So there we go. Oh, right, and it's just gone past, so I will finish him off in the morning. and I'll post pictures as always. But thank you so much for joining me. I will now go and catch up with all your comments. And yes, I'm sure there's a way of, whenever I see videos where people are doing tutorials or whatever, I know this isn't really a tutorial, it's just me blethering on, but there must be a way of being able to read the comments at the same time, but I can't do it on my phone anyway. Right, but yeah, that's a little bit more work. Get rid of the flob, sort out the tail, and then I'll bake him, and then he'll be ready. And yeah, so you can imagine I've got about four of these. So I'm going to have them all looking different ways and peeping out. Probably one will be sitting down, maybe going for a little nap. I will need to spend time going through these comments. I can't read them properly just now, sorry. But yes, all suggestions are welcome. But yes, and if that was right, round the handle, was that maybe where it was going with that? Yes, that could work as well. I mean, there's not much of a gap between them, but over the top and round there, that would help too. Right, and I may even try it, as I say, with a 2.5 gram one. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. It's lovely to see you, and thank you for joining me, and me and the wee mouse will see you in the morning. Have fun. Good night. Bye.